Welcome to No Fall Zone, the podcast that takes you inside the minds of Freeride World Tour athletes, past and present, who've left their mark on the sport. We lift the curtain and give you a glimpse of what life is really like for some of the world's greatest professional freeriders. This episode of No Fall Zone is brought to you by Scott, the premium supplier of goggles, helmets, and back protectors for the Freeride World Tour, and a very important partner of today's guest, who was a title threat every one of the 5 years he competed, finishing as high as second in the 2015 Ski Men rankings. While still on tour, the Swiss native set his sights on climbing and skiing 15 of the Alps' most mythic peaks, accompanied by his best friend, Sam Ontematen. The original idea became the impetus behind two monumental films, Liste and Liste, Everything or Nothing. The desire that drives him and the technical prowess that enables him to ski the world's most daunting mountains with a surreal combination of speed and aggressiveness have cemented his status as a freeride legend. Jérémie Heitz, welcome to the podcast. Bienvenue.
Hello, Dave. Thank you. Nice introduction.
Thank you very much. I work very hard on those intros. So how are you? It's been ages. I think the last time I saw you in person was your second to last year on tour, and my last one doing the webcast, I think it was 2017. So yeah, it's been a while, but you look good and you've been very busy since the last time we hung out.
Yeah, thank you. I'm doing well. Doing my home film project. I didn't really compete anymore since we didn't see each other. So yeah, I'm doing really great. I'm doing like the things I really love to. Still doing some things on my skis, and then waiting for the snow.
Indeed. So my son is an avid skier, not a very good one. He's only 12 and he's only been doing it for about 5 years now, I think. But he told me to ask you, has it snowed yet in Switzerland? Are you already up on the mountains doing lines?
Yeah, I've done 2 ski days for testing some clothing, but it's super dry right now. It's been super hot, and then but it seems like the beginning of the coming week it will be winter. But since now it's super dry, so. No, I'm still waiting.
Okay, well, I'll tell him that he has to be patient because we can see the Pyrenees from our house, but it's super dry in the Pyrenees, and he's like, Dad, it's the middle of November and there's still no snow.
He's excited.
He's very excited. He's very excited. All right, well, so speaking of kids, let's talk about you when you were young. Not that you're not young anymore, but when you were a lot younger. How was life growing up in Les Marécottes and Salvan Valley?
It's great. I mean, I'm 35 years old now, and I'm still there. I was lucky enough to build my home house in this little village. My whole family are there. So, and then we have a super nice little resort with not too many people, a lot of options around the chairlift. So yeah, for me, it's my dream place. It's really nice. We got like everything we need up there. And then there is the Martigny, the city, it's 10-minute drive from here. So we are in the mountains, but close to the city. So yeah, for me, it's the best possible place to growing up, actually.
No, indeed. And I love that you call Martigny a city. How many people live in Martigny, Jérémie?
I don't know. It's like, maybe 20,000, I would say, something like this.
It's grown since the last time I was there.
Maybe
okay.
I'm wrong. I don't know.
Yeah, no, all good. So
from here, I see a lot of light, so it should be like 1,000 of people.
There we go. All good. So as a kid, obviously growing up in Switzerland, your background is alpine racing, and though you started climbing and doing alpinism pretty young with your stepdad?
Yeah, That's correct. Yeah. But before I was like really like into the freeride things, like getting up with the chairlift, skiing down, having fun, jumping things, and more I was motivated to to boot back the line I wanted to go, and then it's been a natural evolution since then, and now I'm walking much more than I'm skiing actually during the winter. So it's pretty nice if I look back. The evolution's been evolving through the alpinist world, and now I can say that I'm super stoked outside of a ski resort.
Yeah,
than
yeah. No doubt. You do a lot of riding outside of the ski resorts. So we'll get to we'll get to that in a little bit. But so even as a kid, you were, I mean, we've had a few of our guests this season are legends as yourself, and René Barkered was saying the same thing, that he was always doing practicing bashing gates, doing the slalom and stuff, but he was always looking at the off-piste things and the little side hits and stuff like that on the edge of the slope. So I mean, I know I've seen footage of you as a kid doing slalom practice, and you already super fast, as a 6-year-old, I think. But when did you start? Were at the same time you were already hiking off piste and like hitting kickers and shredding the pow and stuff like that?
Yeah, actually, I wasn't that fast through the gate. To be honest, I had a kind of okay technique, but I wasn't that fast with the time. So it's one of the main reason I would say that I switched directly for freeriding, because I was like on the chairlift training through the gate, and I was seeing the Falke brothers filming around, because those guys were like filming a lot of stuff here in Les Maricottes. And then suddenly I had the opportunity to go with them, to help them filming during a night shoot, because I was walking during the day, and the night I was like getting up in the resort, placing the light and everything to help them. And then it was a 2 years project, and then the second year they asked me to ski a little bit in the front of the camera, and it's actually how it started. That was the beginning.
How old were you then?
I
Do you
was
remember?
I was 15 years old, something like this.
Okay.
15,
All
yeah.
right. What's funny is I've been obviously rewatching a lot of your films and videos and things, and now that you talk about that film, I think they entered it in like a Red Bull Film Festival that I announced in
Really?
Switzerland, working
Nice.
with Chris Bachman, and I think it was even Nico Hallwoods that organized the thing. But now that as we're talking about it, I have these images coming back, and I remember seeing that the film at this festival, and I'm sure it was at this festival in Switzerland that I worked on with Chris Bachman, and that
Yeah.
Nico Hallwood organized. But too funny. So yeah, so Huck and Chuck, they
Yeah.
brought you up.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I was super lucky to meet those two brothers when I was younger, and this was really the time that I decided to quit alpine skiing to do a little bit of more fun stuff in the powder.
No doubt. So the first video you got to ski, you got on film, and there was like red powder or something on the on the snow. Did they put that there, or was that stuff that blew in from the Saharas?
The blue things. No. That was like a sort of dirt, dusty dirt that we were like putting on the snow, on the surface of the snow.
Okay.
With a blower, and then we just did few turns into it to see the structure, of the snow
powder,
moving.
how it blows up in the air. Yeah. Awesome.
That's one of the many crazy idea of Nico, the older brother.
Yeah, the two of them had many crazy ideas. So what were some of the other what were some of the what are some of the other good memories that you have from the time that you spent riding with them? We'll get into some of the the bigger projects. Liste will come to that, but just as a Grom, yeah, what were some of the crazy things that they had you do, or that you pushed them into doing?
Actually, it's probably the first heli skiing shooting day that I've done. That was the same year that I was able to film with them on Une Nuit d'Hiver. That was the first movie that I did with them by night. And then during the day, they invite me to do some heli skiing, shooting with Yancey Haddock and then Guido Perini. That was the first meeting. And then we went through towards the Glacier du Trien. And then we did super big faces like Tour Noir, North Face, and other pretty nice face that I was like, Chardonnay, really big mountains. And I was super young. They just gave me one jacket of their actual sponsor back in the days.
Yeah.
The jacket was way too big for me, but that was the first step, to approach them and to have my first sponsors. And then, that day was amazing because, we were sharing this day. Everything went well. The condition was perfect. And that was the first shooting day. Not in the night, actually.
Yeah.
On ski freeride. So that was super nice.
And straight in the deep end with some legends as well. There, some of the best lensmen in the business.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. That was directly, starting hardcore, and they were like pretty confident to brought these little kids with them, and then just say, you can follow the track there, and then let's see what happens.
That's awesome. So you said that they gave you a big oversized jacket. I hope they gave you an avalanche transceiver as well, huh?
Yeah. I had everything, with my stepfather as a mountain guide. I was like, pretty early, well educated with avalanche things. Yeah. I mean, it's been like all the time. If I look back, knowing the right person at the right time, that's why I'm there right now, actually.
Yeah, well, we were when we research these things, I talk with Dom Daer a lot about the different riders and get little anecdotes, and he pointed out something concerning you, that you the Falke brothers and then you coming up with them. You guys were kind of the first the first generation of skiers who really made a name for yourselves first through filming rather than competition results. Is that something that you thought about, or is it just kind of like, that's just the way it happened?
Yeah, actually, it's more. I would say that it's more like for the Falke brothers, that they were like, Loris did maybe 2-3 competition in his career, and Nico 0 actually. So they were, the first around here to be quite famous in the world of skiing, without doing too many competitions. So, but in my case, it's a bit different. I guess the Freeride World Tour gave me a lot in that side, because having the possibility of winning the title a few times but never get it, was like at the end a really good publicity, I would say. I don't know.
Yeah, no, for sure.
And then
But you were, because when you started filming with the Falques, you weren't doing the tour yet. You weren't even doing Freeride World qualifying competitions.
Yeah, but during that time I did only one qualifier, and it's actually
it was early days too, huh? So
that was the beginning. And then I did one qualifier. It was in Italy. I don't really remember which area. And then it's where I actually meet Samantha Matten for the first time. And
Ah,
then
okay.
I saw this guy just tumbling the whole face during the qualification. And that's the first time I saw Sammy riding a mountain
Okay.
on his head.
Do you on his head? Do you remember what year that was? Was that 2008, 2009?
Probably 2009, I would say.
Okay, because
Yeah, I have a doubt.
because
Yeah.
you guys started doing the you both did he did the tour, the full tour in 2011, and you did the first 3 events.
Yeah.
And then I think you took 2012 off because I can't find any results for you anywhere in 2012. And then 2013, that was the first full year, and then you went through until.
So it might be in 2010 that we did this qualifier
The
together.
qualifier. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right. I want to get back to, we're going to definitely come back to that, but I just want to finish on you as a little kid, because in La Liste, there's Dede Azvi.
Anzewi.
Anzawi. Oh, okay. I wrote it down wrong. Dede Anzawi, who said the first time he ever heard about you was there's a little alien or little extraterrestrial kid skiing around in Les Maricottes. So your reputation, I guess your reputation, at least within the Swiss freeride scene, probably was growing quickly before you started competing. But maybe, I guess it was at the same time.
Yeah, but I don't know, but it's meeting the right person, like to be able to be with the Falker brothers already, super young like this, and then at the same time I was like able to also to forerun the Verbier Extreme for the men. I get lost into this run actually, so it was pretty young at that time, I think, to be in that world. So maybe it was the reason why. Yeah, did they say so?
Too good. Did you so there was a lot of positive aspects to kind of being their protege and being under their wing, being their Luke Skywalker to their Yoda or Obi-Wan Kenobi. But were there any? Did you feel any pressure riding with them, or were there any negative aspects to being the new little shredder kid on the block?
No, that was all positive, I think, because, as I said, it was not only the Falke brothers. Beside, I had like the mountain guide kind of side of it. So I was super well surrounded, and then it was all positive. Nothing about pressure and things like this. With also the sponsoring things, which is super hard in our sport. Went pretty smoothly at the beginning also. So I could have my first free kit, and to be able to do like a full season in the mountains. So yeah, it was all positive to meet those guys.
No doubt. So did you realize that you were living something special, or were you just kind of lost in the moment and this is just all great? You were just a little Grom and just charging and just thinking about skiing.
No, I realized the chance I have, and I was over motivated to help them, and I want to be like the Falke brothers during that time, because they were like the idol for sure. They're still
yeah, no doubt.
Kind of they have a cool lifestyle right now, and then that I was realizing the chance, and then with the motivation I had, to go up by night and to walk the full day, and to have like the possibility on doing that with my boss during that time. It was really helping, but I was pretty tired after a season like this. So no, I'm super fortunate.
Awesome. And so we kind of talked about, you did the first qualifier in 2009, then you had a go at it in 2011, and Cody Tovex won the tour in 2010. Did you ever cross paths with him, get to ski with him during that time period, or
no?
Were you guys?
No, that was pretty cool to meet him, actually, because he's such a cool guy. with a huge passion for skiing. And then it was super nice to meet these guys on the tour, and he's French, and it was super easy for the French speaker, to get in touch with him. And then but later on we meet again, and then we ski some random days here in Vallis. So super cool guy.
Yeah, no, indeed. I wondered if there was any kind of when you, because you were...
actually you're right, because we were doing Legend, a movie for O'Neill at that time, and he showed up for one night.
Okay.
If I remember well, with Xavier Delory. And then I don't remember what year was it, because as you might know, I'm pretty bad with date. So I've been meeting this guy for a few hours in the night during one day. But the first time I was able to to discuss a little bit with him, it was really on the tour.
Yeah. So, because did he do another year in 2000? He won the title in 2010, and then I thought
after. I don't know. Yeah.
Yeah. No, I was just, I mean, no, you guys, I'm sure you crossed paths, and but I thought that he dropped off after the year after he won the title, but maybe.
Must be a smart move from Candide.
We're getting old. These memories are all hazy, so it's all good. All right. Okay. Let's leave Candide aside. I'm sure if any funny Candide stories do come back to you, feel free to just stop me. Oh, now I remember. So
okay.
It's always good value talking about Candide, but let's go back to talking about you. So 2011, your first events, 2013 was your first year on tour. 2015, you finished second. And so back in the day, I was calling some of the extremes and doing some of the webcasting. And I used to call you the world's fastest freerider on the webcasts. But of course, you were and are so much more than that. There was a video, I'm not sure if it was Mammut that made it, or if it was Scott, or if it was the Freeride World Tour, but it was called 100 Miles Per Hour, A Winter with Jérémie Heitz, and it was about the 2018 season. And Ed Lee fittingly described you as arguably the best skier never to have won the tour. And I would add the best skier never to have won an event. It's mind-blowing. I said the same thing to Riney. I said, you're, in my mind, you were constantly winning, but even he, I think, only won four events in 15 years on tour, and you got second place 5 times in 5 years on tour. Looking back on it, do things like that matter, or do you still have something? Is there something missing from that time? Or I don't know, when you look back on your days on the tour, how do you, what comes to mind? What springs to mind for you?
Well, I mean, of course, you do a competition for winning. That's the thing. I'm pretty competitive since I'm super young. So of course I wanted to win. Stop all the overall ranking. That would have been amazing. But also, if I look back, being all the time, the chaser behind those leaders was pushing my level of skiing all the time, because I had to do more to follow them and to perform a little bit better, to be, might have a winning run. So I guess this situation helped me a lot with the character I have. And then, but yeah, of course, I would have been super stoked to have a win on the tour. But for now, I don't really care, because at the end, everything went well with filming, and then now I do what I love to do. Right now. But during that time, I was chasing the winning run all the time, and it would have helped some nights to sleep well with a winning run, of course.
Yeah, no doubt. Especially a few of them where you were this close to winning, and then there was like a little shark that jumped up and grabbed a ski or something like that.
Yeah.
There were, oh man, there were a few.
Oh,
there were definitely a few of those.
George Rodney, or also Tapkey. Those guys were pretty. Yeah, they were pretty good about taking the winning at the very last.
Yeah, there were.
Sometimes.
Yeah, you were on tour against some heavy hitters. I mean, George Rodney, obviously, you got second to him in 2015. And I went back and looked at the scenarios before Verbier, and I think you needed to finish, first or second, and he had to finish outside of the top 5 for you to win the title. And he ended up finishing 4th, and you finished 5th. So it really did come down to that. To that last event. But and then I mean, there were the Rainy Barkerheads, the Tab Keys, those guys.
Those amazing guys. Super cool. That was nice to fight with them.
Indeed. And it was a kind of a crossing of generations too, because you had some of the older guys like Aurélien Ducrot that were still on. And and then the up and comers like Rodney. I guess George didn't stay on tour for very long, but it was an exciting time to.
That was the first time of the Freeride World Tour. Was so great. I was arriving on the tour with those legends like Aurélien, Seth Bichot, Kaiser Christian, Sverre, those guys that I was like all the time seeing from the Gentian. And finally I was like competing with them. I remember those first year was like super special for me.
No doubt. Especially, had you and Sam already like become best buddies at that time, or you were still kind of getting to know each other?
Yeah, that was the time we spent together traveling for the Freeride World Tour. We travel together from Geneva or some things like this. We take the car together because we live close by. And then it was like actually the situation when we get a little bit closer, in the hotels, we were like taking the room all the time together, doing like the parties together, choosing the lines also together, because he became a mountain guide super young.
Yeah.
So he had, a vision of the mountains, like a pretty good one actually. And then I was like coming from the skiing, so I was like, a little bit like, discovering everything. And then he was, I remember sometimes he was like, I was asking for the scales of the
cliffs and the different features
and things like this. And then we were all the time, checking the face with the binocular in different angles, because he had already in mind some angles with the sun and things like this. So I learned a lot with his approach. And then, and by the time we get to know each other's like this, and then finally we wanted more all together to go a little bit higher here in the Alps. And then that was no doubt to do, the future project with him.
Yeah, for sure.
It just works well.
So that's exactly it. And so how did you guys come up? I mean, you're always credited with being the driving force behind La Liste, the list for the people who don't know what it means in French, but in English. But it really, I mean, it seems to me like the two of you guys kind of developed the concept together. But it was your idea. You told him, "Hey, Sam, listen, I'm kind of getting over this whole contest thing. This is what I want to do in the off season."
Yeah, kind of, because the off season of the Freeride World Tour, it's the perfect season for that kind of skiing. So basically that was the idea. But Sam and Xavier was like already starting to do that before me, because they were like approaching the Landspitze on those, really big faces, and started to ride on ice also. This was a huge inspiration for me also. And then during that time also, I talked to my grandfather because back in the days he was skiing with Silva Soda. Yeah, naturally I get into this story of steep skiing here around here in the Alps, and then I was like, that is super cool. That could be a super cool adventure to live, and then why not setting a list of things of mountains that motivate me, and then it's naturally how it started to be a Liste movie
Yeah,
at
yeah,
the end
yeah.
because it was nice because it was the first film project that I had, and then we just tried the first years without a huge budget, and then we just give it a try because we were super motivated. Our connection with Sammy was just perfect, so we just try and do some pics around it, and then after the day we saw the footage, and then we say, yeah, there is some things to do with that little idea we randomly had, maybe sometimes after the party or the Freeride World Tour.
So you guys actually filmed some of those descents before you decided to make the film, or was it filming descents that were similar to what you wanted to do that you said we should make a list?
No, we had this idea before.
Okay.
And then we chose some of yeah, I made a list of mountains without, knowing if it's really possible. But for me, that was the most beautiful mountains we have here in the Alps that are skiable the way we wanted to do it.
Yeah.
So, I just gave it a try, and Lamon, and then some of the peaks that were in condition the first year. And then we were scoring like, peak after peak because we were super lucky with the conditions at that time. And then, but the idea of skiing a list of 4,000-meter peaks was from the beginning.
All right. And Sam says, you kind of already answered the question, but Sam said in the film, to get one face with perfect conditions isn't easy in a season. To get 15, you have to be full on and lucky too. So as you said, you guys were super lucky. And in the end, you didn't actually ski you climbed all of them. You didn't successfully ride. You do. I think you got 12 or 13 out of the 15.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
And over 2 seasons, it was 2015 and 2016, right? Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. But we were full on. Like every little storm we had in the spring, we were like checking the conditions, taking the planes to do like picture of every mountains. We were like, of course, full on, but also we have to say that we were super lucky because we had like 2 spring that was perfect for that kind of skiing.
No doubt. So, you already said it's you guys were doing the lines for La Liste after the Freeride World Tour season, but we're already your results on tour started to go down. Was that because you were focusing so much on La Liste, or maybe subconsciously? I don't know, because you were second in the world in 2015. 2016, you finished 9th with a huge crash in Haynes, and then Verbier was canceled that year. But then it seemed like your season pretty much ended with a bang on the Obergabelhorn in the summer of 2016.
Yeah, I guess I get, the motivation somewhere else. Not consciously, actually. It was like, I always say, on the competition, you need to be at like 120% there. And then as soon as you have your line, actually, it works like this for me. I was like doing the checking. I always had only one line. I didn't have like a B plan and things like this, like Heine Backred, for example. He was the master to have like, several options.
A, B, C, D,
E. Yeah, exactly. And then I couldn't do that. So I was like taking the plan A, and I was the plan A in my mind, and it was only that. So, you know, little bit, putting the knife under my
Yeah.
piece and then go for
And
it.
we
And
go.
then
Yeah.
I could see and feel the difference at the end. In 2016, for example, I was like, thinking about something else, and it was like not only the Freeride World Tour that mattered into my career. So I couldn't, felt a little bit the transition there. I wanted more. I wanted to go a little bit higher, and then to test my skiing somewhere else, maybe. Yeah.
No doubt. Well, but 2017, you still were there. You came back. Chamonix got canceled. So it all happened in Andorra. You got a 9th, and then they did the Chamonix contest in Andorra. You fell, got 21st. There was one of those ones where you, I don't know, you picked your line. I think you just clipped the tails of your skis, landing a cliff.
Ah, yeah. Yeah.
And then it was a pretty big bail. And then on the Wildsee loader, you pretty much just blew up and ragdolled down the entire face.
Yeah.
Which was
I
one
remember.
of the very scary moments commentating. So I can, watching the thing live, and having to, but for you, that was, I mean, what's going through your head when you bail like that?
Wow, that was super hard because I was like disappointing about myself. I had like a huge pressure before the competition.
I was going to say, you needed a huge result to qualify for Haynes and Verbier. So, because we were talking about that on the webcast, but then you were saying you were feeling, I don't know, pressure or were you nervous, or was it just the pressure, the weight on your shoulders the night before?
It was more like a pressure of every stop, like kind of the same, not because of, I had to qualify to go further in the adventure, but it was like more about like the pressure of doing well. It was not the pressure of getting injured or getting scared or some things like this. And then, I was pretty disappointed about myself when I bailed like this in Austria, because I knew that I'm gonna be mad about myself for a few weeks, until I get another chance to get, to do better. So that was more about that, the pressure I had before those contests, and I had like kind of scared to get into this feeling. But in Austria, that was a huge fall for sure. I was kind of had a huge stumble, and then I had to operate my ankle after that.
That's right. Yeah, you did get injured.
Yeah, that was. But... Yeah, so at the end it was like something's more that you put on top. You get injured in competition. Sometimes the conditions are not like ideal, but you need to perform in it. So it pushes your skiing a lot. But at a certain time, you need to also to be honest with yourself and just say, just ask yourself if you need that anymore into your skiing, or you just need to go and try something else, and to watch those young guns through the live.
No doubt. So how long did it take you after that contest to make the decision that I'm done?
It was already the 2017. I was motivated, but not enough for doing good result. So it was like before the last season I did on the Freeride World Tour. But you never know, because you started this sport with the Freeride World Tour. It's a huge part of your life during a season. It's kind of the whole season. You're traveling with your buddies, and then you're attending to the stops, and then it's kind of like a things that part of your life for a reason, and then suddenly you decided to quit it. So it's you never know if it's the right decision, because it could be like a little down of I don't know, motivation that you don't have because of the faces, or bad result you could have the year before, and then you're always like chasing, those moments that are just magic. When you do well on the Freeride World Tour, you're arriving at the finish line, you see your score, you're happy with your line. It's really good.
So what was
as
the
a
most
feeling.
magical moment for you on tour then?
Magical moments. Yeah, there were like few ones, but
you can give me a couple if you want. It doesn't have to be one. If there's a couple that were really...
Yeah, I mean, couple ones would be, at the end of the Begderos, it's always like pretty special because, the tension, it's pretty high when you're at the top of it. And I remember when you're escaping the phase full speed and you go towards the finish line, it's a super nice feeling because also it's the end of this special day that you were pretty stressed about it, and it's the end of the season also.
Yeah.
So that's always pretty special in Verbier. But also in Ains, when we had like few days to wait because of the weather, and suddenly we flew up there, and then we could have the first event ever on the Freeride World Tour there, and then it was like perfect conditions. Like it was unreal because we had like crazy powder into a phase during a competition. It's not often.
No, definitely not. Yeah, you guys had some pretty good luck with Alaska. That was one of those things that two stops that I really would have liked to have gone to were Japan and Alaska, but just didn't because of my little health issues at the time. I couldn't join you guys for that one, but I definitely enjoyed watching from home. And yeah, the year you got second, you got second the first edition or the second edition?
Yeah, second or third. I don't remember.
It was the second edition. The last one, I think you got ninth, maybe. But
yeah. The last one, time.
Yeah. But as you do, for you, is go big or go home for Jérémie Heitz on tour. So, but it was always fun to watch. Yeah, and your stepdad, Rafi Richard, he said, yeah, Jérémie learned a lot there. He learned how to lose, of course. Was that the biggest lesson that you took away from tour?
Yeah, as I say, being like the chaser all the time, I think I learned a lot about, pushing myself on skiing in competition mode, because it's always pretty tricky, to have only one run, to be able to scope the line only from far away, and to perform 100% during the run. It's such a good exercise. And then this helps me a lot after for the film project, because when you are climbing for hours mountains, and you have only one try because you're filming, and then if there is a track, it's not the same, of course. And it helps you a lot to perform and to be a little bit better while.
No doubt. All right. Well, thank you for that last answer, because it was the question I was going to ask you next, and you answered it for me. So all good. I'm sure that most people who are listening to this or watching this, since we're doing these things filmed live this year as well, on the Freeride World Tour YouTube channel. I'm sure everyone knows what La Liste is, but for those people who haven't seen it, or La Liste Everything and Nothing, which is basically La Liste Part 2, they are available free to stream on Red Bull, on the Red Bull website nowadays. So go check them out if you haven't seen them. But La Liste 15 4,000 meters peaks in the Alps to show the evolution of steep skiing. We talked a little bit about the mountains and the lines. Were there some of them that you just wanted to do forever, or once you guys kind of started developing the concepts, were there some that became more evident as time went on? Kind of when did you know that the list was complete?
It was like, no, I didn't want to ski those mountains since I was young. It was like, it was just an idea. about my natural evolution on skis. And then it's crazy because when I see back again when I was I don't know 15 or even a little bit younger, to hike like 30 minutes to get some turns, I was a good teenager during
Yeah.
that that time. So of course I didn't wanted to ski those mountains like since I'm super young, because the approach is huge. The work behind it of getting the right timing, it's also huge, and you need to get the right contact to be super motivated. And as soon as you know that it's in condition, it's a push-up that it's pretty tiring with all the stuff we had. At that time, I had like special skis made from Scott, that they were like over 10 kilo the pair with everything,
Oh, wow. Okay.
the banding. And then I didn't had like the walking mode on the ski boots and things like this. So this involved a lot now. But yeah, it's been a cool evolution if I look back.
Oh, yeah, for sure. And you were surrounded by all of your, all of your bros. I'm assuming that just happened naturally, but, directed by Guido Perini, edited by Guido and Nicolas Falquet. Then Xavier was in there, Tero Repo shooting stills, Rafi Richard, your stepdad, guiding, you and
Yeah.
Sam. I mean, did you guys feel like you were conquering the world? Or, I mean, that just must have been awesome, because you had literally just all your best bros and you're like, yeah, we're doing this,
Yeah, exactly. It was crazy. During a shooting day, it was actually like we were like going on a ski day normally,
Yeah.
actually. So that was really good to do this first movie with such a crew. And then actually I asked them to follow me on the second opus, the Liste Everything or Nothing. But yeah, that was a little bit too much of an organization with all the expedition, the traveling and things like this. So had to change the team. But of course, my plan A was to keep the same group, walking as we've been doing for ages, just up there in Les Maricottes. That was the dream for me to start like.
Okay, awesome. Well, that was actually one of the things that I wanted to ask you as well. How did the decision come to make the change in production company with, is it Sherpa? Yeah, with Sherpa Productions, Sherpa Films,
Sherpa Cinema, they call
Sherpa
it.
Cinema. That's
Yeah.
it, Sherpa Cinema. So
Yeah.
yeah. So I want to come back and ask you a couple of things about La Liste, but since you brought the subject up, how did the boys just say, you asked everybody and they're like, no, that's too much. You need to find somebody else to do it.
Yeah.
Was that basically it?
Yeah, that was it. That was super simple. It was like a discussion with Nico, as he's living just down the street there. And then we see each other kind of every day. And then I had this idea of, getting a little bit higher and pushing our skiing even more. And then I explained a little bit the idea, and it was like, yeah, to be honest, you need to reach out another production that can handle, the production of Nico Falquet, it's one person.
Right.
Only
Exactly.
Nico Falquet.
Yeah.
Falquet. So he's super talented. He can go like everywhere. We still do some things, a lot of things here. But it was a bit too much for him, and it was super straightforward, honest. And then just ask another production that have the shoulder to handle such a project, and then I can come and help anytime. But this is too much.
All right. So how did you know the guys from Sherpa before, or
No.
how did that connection happen?
Yeah, the connection happened it was actually super funny, because I had this idea. I was like, yeah, I might contact the Sherpa Cinema, because I knew them from different movie, All I Can and things like this. That was, amazing. For me, that was kind of the big production during that time that I really liked. And then Sammy they worked together 1 or 2 years before the project. And then I was like, yeah, I should contact them. And then suddenly one day I had an email from Eric Rosland, which is one of the owner of Sherpa Cinema. And then, yeah, we heard that you have a project in mind. Maybe we should contact and talk about it. So it's been like it's been like a pure luck. And then had the great meeting at the great time.
No doubt. Things happen for a reason, and I guess great minds think alike. The universe was pushing you guys together. So.
Yeah,
that's awesome. Okay, well, let's talk about the films a little bit. I'm not going to ask you to, go back and tell me what happened in the films, because both of them are, like I said earlier, are on the Red Bull website. So anybody that hasn't seen them can go check them out. But there were a few things that happened, and I want to know what you were thinking as these things happened. And then there's a few quotes from some of the people in the film that I want you to tell me a little bit about. But the first thing was so Sylvain Saudon, he's French, right?
He's Swiss.
Swiss, sorry. Okay, yeah. Well, there you go.
Be careful.
Oh, yeah, exactly. But he opened the Spencer Couloir in Chamonix in 1967 that you did 50 years later in the film. But he said in French, adventure is to go where nobody has been. That is the definition, and you cannot go where nobody has been safely. So the guy's an absolute legend. But is that in the back of your mind, the fact nobody can go where, and you cannot go where nobody has been safely? Is that something you think, you're obviously aware of the dangers, but is it something that's in the back of your mind, or you just go, no, this is what we're doing? You're so motivated and so focused that the danger aspect is kind of left behind?
No, for me, even if it has been like skied for 20 times or even more, it's still a dangerous place. You never know what's gonna happen with the warming situation during the day, avalanche things, the human factor. So you can at any time lose a ski or just fall doing a stupid decision. So yeah, he's right, and I really like those sentence he had. But for me, it's like, yeah, I'm not considering like a mountain or a slope super safe just because it's a classic. It's every time different. The conditions are evolving, breathroom, transition on the glacier, avalanche danger. And also the thickness of the snow layer.
Yeah,
everything can be like all the time different. So for me, I'm always like aware about potential danger, because some of the places that we like to ski, you only fall once and then it's game over. So it's it's definitely not the goal into that practice.
No, for sure. But luckily you don't fall more than you do, but when you do, you fall spectacularly. And I wanted to ask you about one big bail in the first film on the Grand Combat de Val-Sorey. What was going through your head when you're falling down that mountain? And like, for example, how does it compare to the fall on the Wildsee-Loder?
Well, it's totally different, because Wildsee-Loder, you know that you're gonna stop at a certain moment, but it was way more powerful in Austria, because it was like with a lot of speed after a crash, and then in the Grand Combat it was more about I wanted to, for the little story, I was hiking up with José Caron, a good friend,
Oh yeah.
of me, and then we were like climbing up these mountains, and at the very top there were like a huge piece of ice that was like, yeah, virgin without snow on it. And then I tell myself, yeah, I should do something fun there. I should ski that stripe of ice, because the Grand Combat of Valsora, it's a beautiful face, but there is like nothing, really special about it, because there is no like huge exposure. It's
Right.
super steep at the beginning, but it gets slower, a little bit flatter. I
Yeah.
would say like this with my good English. And then I just tell myself to try some things, and then it happened what happened. I lose my ski because I made an angle on the ice, and then it make like so much vibration that I lose my skis. Even if I was like my weight is 65, now 68 kg,
Right. Yeah.
and then my banding was full on at 16, so it should not release,
Right.
but it happened during that day. And then what passed through my mind, it was like, yeah, I should not tumble the whole phase, because there's still 600 meter
Yeah.
of phase.
There's a
So
lot of mountain left to still fall down, no
yeah,
doubt.
and it gets so scared, because you are in high mountains. And then there is like everything starting during the morning. We slept on the glacier down there. It was cold during the night. We were climbing up, so it's tough, kind of, the atmosphere of the day. And then falling in that atmosphere was kind of more scary than during a Freeride World Tour event, for sure.
Yeah, for
But
sure.
the consequences was like, yeah, I could, tumble the whole face, but there were like no huge consequences.
Yeah, no big rocks, no big cliffs to fall off
Yeah,
of,
yeah,
and you lost the ski and you were sliding, whereas on the Wildsee loader you were, going
yeah,
ragdoll head over heels, and I love the fact that your ski on the Grand Combat, just like what, maybe 50 meters or 100 meters farther along, it just all of a sudden pointed into the snow and was just kind of sitting there waiting for you to come
yeah,
get it.
yeah,
And then
exactly.
they're like, what do you want to do, Jérémie? Do you want to go back up? Are you going to do it again? Or whereas for me, I would have just been, I mean, you eventually said, no, forget it. We're done with this one for the day. But for me, it wouldn't even have been a question of, you got your ski. Do you want to go back up and try it again?
Yeah, no. But during the time, you're like, during the moment, you're like, yeah, it's super frustrating, because you miss the shot. Everybody, are there for you, to film you, to be with you on that mission, and then you failed. So it's horrible. As a feeling, it's like falling. Even worse than falling on the Freeride World Tour, because you put like so many energy, to find the perfect timing at home, following the weather, and then climbing up the face, and then you're losing a ski during the way down. So yeah,
No doubt.
that was hard, and also for the confidence, because losing a ski, it was never an option for me. I'm pretty picky with my skis and skiing materials. I'm doing that in my cellar all the time. I put like, I over control everything all the time, and then losing the ski like so smoothly like this on such a mountain, it affects me a lot about my self-confidence during my skiing for years after.
And your preparation and your equipment, even. I mean, that's it's one of those things where, so I watched your daily routine videos, and actually quite a you do spend a lot of time down in your basement there in your little man cave with all your gear. And when you were explaining, I think in one of the Scott videos, about your bindings, it is like, I will not come off. These
yeah, that's right. Yeah.
No doubt. So there's two more things I wanted to ask you about from La Liste, and then we're going to move on to another one where I'm going to be interested if you wanted to go back up and ski that line again. But first of all, on is it the Gervasuti or the Gervasuti?
Yeah, Gervasuti.
The Gervasuti. You keep talking about, or people describe your skiing as Formula One skiing. Where on the Gervasuti, it's real steep skiing, meaning jump turns and, the not your ideal way, not the way you want to ski the mountains. When do you know you can't cut loose? Like when you were already on your way up there, did you feel that the conditions weren't quite right for the skiing that you wanted to do on the face, or was it once you were into it that you just felt that it wasn't going to happen?
Yeah, the Gervasuti, it's a little bit different that I used to approach the mountains, because it's not really it's not really good to climb up the Gervasuti because you expose under a huge serac, and there is like few stories about really bad accident there. So you hiking in the back of it, so you don't know about the conditions.
Okay.
So most of the time we are climbing up the face to do it right, of course, but to feel the conditions and to see, because one specific things about those faces is that they are like a piece of ice during the whole year, except maybe 2 months. And then when we have this special condition for the snow to stick on it, it's it can look pretty good and white from far, but it could be like only a few centimeters. And then if you jump on it, it could be super bad because you end up directly on the ice. So having a close look by climbing up, it's really important, and it's part of my kind of mental preparation, because it takes few hours. Then you can fix everything, see your line, the bathroom at the end of the face. Also, usually there is a transition.
Yeah.
And then you're arriving with a bit of speed, so you need to know the angle. So there is few specific things that you need to have by climbing up the peak, because if you go heli drop up there, it's so much more difficult. It's easier, of course, for the way up, but for the skiing, it's not the same.
No doubt. So, having said all that, on the Obergabelhorn, what's going through your head when Sam says, "I'm not feeling it, I'm going back down"?
Yeah, he was injured actually. That was for the movie, the story.
Okay, well, this is why I asked these questions.
No, but
so
actually,
it wasn't the conditions. It was because he couldn't physically. He wasn't feeling it. It wasn't because of the conditions.
It was because he was injured during that time. But we had the plan to go together, because it's still actually his dream to ski these mountains, because it's so close to his home resort. He see the south face of it like kind of every day. So he wants to ski it, and he know that he's gonna ski it one day. And then we planned to ski it together. And during that time, he get injured at his ankle, I think, or his knee. I don't remember. And it was crazy because that day he was to the other side of the valley on the Blanc Normand, close to Dinalroton, with the long lens, and he was like filming me while I was going down. So it was kind of funny, but not really at the end.
Yeah,
because his dream mountains was rode by his good friend without him. So it was a kind of a sad story, but I'm sure he's gonna have it soon.
He's gonna get it one of these days. Yeah, I remember in the film, Tero was saying, "I've been waiting 7 years to be able to shoot somebody on this face, and it's finally happening." So Yeah, it's one of those ones that's even more special, I guess,
Yeah,
because of
as
the
I
rare.
told you, during those 2 days, 2 years, we were like super lucky with conditions. Yeah.
All right. So I want to take a quick break from La Liste. We're going to come back to everything and nothing. To talk about one of the other projects that you did with Nico Falque that I just thought was awesome. And it's Dom Daer, actually, again, who put me onto this one this morning, actually. This wasn't on the list, but then I watched the video and I'm like, oh, this is awesome. Race the Face. The ultimate backcountry giant slalom. So inspired by the La Liste, I'm not going to ask you to go through the whole thing, but I'll just, for the people watching us, inspired by La Liste, you raced Darren Ralves, who's a 3-time downhill world champ and winner of Kitzbühel, on the 50-degree Hoberghorn, which is a 4,129 meter face, which is 13,545 feet. And it was it Nico, the driving force behind it, or was it you? Kind of what's the backstory on it? I guess it took you guys 2 years to put the project together and for it finally to happen.
No, basically, again, it was pretty simple with one of my sponsor, Red Bull. We just get this idea of why not mixing my two skiing world, because I started with alpine racing, and then mixing freeriding would be nice, because people was saying, yeah, if we put gates, sometimes we can imagine gates into your lines when you go down those mountains. So it could be nice to actually have gates on it. And I was like, yeah, it's not really the place to put gates on it. And after I get the chance to meet my child out here, which is Darren Ralphs, and then I met him, and then we started talking about it, and it was like so motivated. So I was like, yeah, do it.
So
do it. And
did Red Bull put you together with him, or did you just okay? You guys,
yeah.
They
I
said,
get the contact
this
because
the guy
I would never just by myself riding such a legend like this.
Hero, yeah.
So that was like smoothly well done getting in contact with him, and then I directly see that he was like super easygoing, and then you get like so much passion about skiing, and then when I present my idea, it was like 100%, motivated. First, he wanted to see the face because he's an amazing skier, and we can see that into the movie. But it was like one of the first time he was climbing with the ice axe and crampons. So that was super nice to share this experience with him, because we sleep at the bottom, we climb up the face, and then I remember during the climb, he was like, super steep here, and then he was like kind of hesitating a little bit.
Yeah.
And I remember as soon as he was like stepping into his skis, he was like, no more question.
Yeah, it was
I'm gonna beat you, a little Swiss guy.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, it was awesome because he said, I'm a little bit out of my element here. And you could tell he's like, yeah, Jérémie was really cool. He taught me how to use the ice axe and everything. And he was just blown away at the reaction when he gets up to the top of the mountain and looks around the first time when you guys went up to scope, and he's just like, he's like a little kid, So it was really cool. I thought, I'm super stoked that Dom turned me on to that one, because that was an awesome film. And the American in me as well, like when he's talking about Bodie Miller and, the guys that he was skiing with at the time. And I remember after when I was like, oh yeah, I remember that guy. He was awesome. And so that must have been a fantastic experience. And you could feel the stoke from both of you guys, coming out of the film and doing what you were doing. But yeah, I was wondering before he dropped in, I'm like, I wonder if Jérémie beats him, but I'm like, I don't think so. But
no chance.
The second and a half difference, I think, something like that. You're close, but But so that was it. Did you guys want it when you got to the bottom? Did you like want to go back up to the top and like do it again?
Yeah. Sure. That was the first thing we said. Let's go back up. And then there were like we had like William Bess that was setting the course.
Yeah.
So that was just perfect, and it was nice because he was setting the course with the rope.
Yeah.
Drilling through the ice, and then we had a reset in between. That was just again perfect timing.
Perfect, yeah.
So when we arrived at the bottom of it, we wanted more,
Yeah,
more and
for
more.
Sure.
No, that was super nice. Such a cool little event.
Indeed. Now, did you get? I mean, I know he was there for like a week or maybe beforehand.
Yeah,
Did you ski anything else together, or were you just too focused on just that?
No, we met together because he was staying in Zermatt, and then discovering a little bit the Swiss place.
Yeah.
We spent some times together. I was a little bit busy also with all the staff, but as soon as I get chance to get meet them, it was super nice. Such a cool week we spent.
Yeah, no, that looked awesome. And I can imagine him too, because I mean, obviously with the tour, he'd spent time in Europe and everything, but kind of being there in that place with those conditions and, because for Americans, for us, the Matterhorn is just, it's
chocolate.
Yeah. Well, it is a chocolate. Yeah. But it's something special, and I guess it's because we've all been to Disneyland and there's the Matterhorn at Disneyland. So when you actually see the real one, it's nice. That much more special. But so I could, anyways, I absolutely loved that film. That was awesome. So moving on, because we're already a little bit over an hour here, but with this one, I'm not cutting it short. We're going all the way to the end. So let's talk about Everything or Nothing. So we already talked about Sherpa Cinemas, and why you didn't go on with the crew that you did the first one with. But the idea of moving on to the 6,000 meter peaks and Peru and Pakistan as locations, was that you and Sam again, or was that kind of a collegial decision from everybody involved?
No, so the idea of the project was 100% Sam and I. We wanted to go higher than the Alps, so we decided to go, slowly higher. So we chose some 6,000, and the goal was again to choose like a beautiful mountains and to do some beautiful skiing on it. And if there is a story around it, we're gonna tell it all, of course. Because when I watch a movie, personally, I like to have like a story behind it and beautiful images. So that was our criteria, and then we started with Artesan Raru in Peru. This is, for the one who don't knows, is the mountains you have in the Paramount Picture logo.
Oh, really? Wow. Okay.
Yeah. So we started with this one because the other side of this face that you see on the logo, it's white and beautiful. And then that was my first 6,000. So it was it was a great adventure. So we had 12 hours to summit the mountains during the whole night, super tiring. And then on the way down, we get like trouble with snow condition because we get like a little wind that changed the snow quality, and it was like almost unskiable. We could manage to ski a little bit down with Sammy, but it was horrible. And then after we had an accident there. That was a crazy story, actually.
Yeah, well, and people, I once again encourage, if you've not seen the film, to check it out. But basically, I mean, you guys had made the decision to call it off for the day. You've come down, and the crew's coming down from the top of the mountain one by one. And Mika, I didn't write down his last name. What's Mika's last name? So Mika Mericanto, your photographer, just hits a piece of ice coming down, like
Hidden rock.
A little shark, literally Peruvian shark, jumps out of the snow, takes his ski off, and he is tumbling down a super scary mountain face in conditions that are absolutely crazy, and you save his life.
No,
well, if you didn't, you save him from even more serious injury. But when he's, you guys talk about it a little bit, but when you see him start to fall, what's going through your head?
Yeah, it's always the same question, but I don't know. You see, your body that you've been doing like so many things here. Super strong Finnish guy that skied and opened so many lines here in Les Maricottes, Chamonix. He used to ski with Andreas Franson, always with the big backpack, with his camera in the back. And then, it was the guy that was breaking the trail for me with his backpack back in the day. So, super strong guy, could ski everywhere, and you see this guy falling down. It cannot. You don't believe it because it won't happen in your in your mind. So and it happened actually, and then I just slide there, and then I stop it because that was the things to do during the day. I just acted, and then but I didn't thought about the consequences, because he's a really heavy guy, much heavier than me, and then it was pretty as I say, really shitty conditions, not super flat, and then huge exposure down below. So I just slide there. I managed to stop him. I don't know how, and then actually the real day started there, because no rescue and nothing in Peru. It was a huge adventure.
Was that the heaviest thing you'd ever experienced up until that point, and ever in your life?
100%.
No, that was crazy. So once again, people listening, watching, I encourage you to check out the film. But 18 kilometers to get him off the mountain. It took you guys 15 hours to get him down and into the ambulance. And as you'll see if you watch the film, he's he makes a recovery, but wow, hard yards. So how hard was it to keep going on the project after that?
Super hard, because you're just asking yourself why are you doing these things, because there is the consequences are so big if you lose a ski. It's not just about skiing around rocks and having good condition. You can literally lose a ski for no reason, and it's what I learned actually on the Val Sorey Grand Combat for the first time, and then the second time it happened there. So it's some things that changed my skiing and my vision of the mountains forever. We can see it in the movie. It's never gonna be the same as the first movie, La Liste. Now it's different in my mind when I approach an objective and things like this. But it's the learning process. It's normal, and I'm super lucky to have been able to live those huge experience and learn out of it. And now I need to use it, and then to use it for for the future, and then why not telling other people about it. But it's it's a learning process which is pretty hard, but super useful in our sport, I would.
No doubt. And so then you guys move on to Pakistan, and now we're gonna go there. Was it from there, were you guys kind of doing it for Mika, or was it
the cool things with Mika is that we knew each other quite well before. He's not speaking French, but we were communicating as as we do right now. So, so it was okay. And then as soon as he was stable in Peru, because we had such a trouble to get out of the country, because he got like pretty bad injuries, and then we wanted him to get the surgery in back in Switzerland.
In Switzerland, yeah.
And then we get in trouble to to get him fly out, and then we spent like more than 1 week in Peru, from hospital to hospitals, and
Right,
then we had the chance to talk together, and then we could directly talk about, because I was feeling guilty in one way, because the whole crew was there because of the stupid idea of Sam and Jeremy.
Yeah.
So the shortcut, it's super easy to make. If we would not have this project, Mika would not see these mountains ever,
right.
Probably. And then we could discuss together, and then it just told me that it's not your fault and things like this, and then it's been super honest, and then it's probably one of the mountains he would have ski even without a project or an opportunity like he had.
Yeah.
So and then we had like a huge talk about it, not only in Peru but back here in Switzerland after and during his rehabilitation.
Yeah.
And then this helped me a lot about overpassing the things, and then not only me, also speaking always about me, but it was also with Sammy.
For Sam, I imagine.
Yeah, it was a team process.
Yeah.
And then after we had like we had 1 year of pause because of bad condition in but we are quite happy about getting
you needed a little bit of time to regroup and get your heads sorted and plus I imagine, I mean, these are huge expeditions, especially in Pakistan. It was even more, you guys were going farther and higher than in Peru as well, or at least that's how I understood it. From a logistical standpoint, it was the two expeditions into Pakistan were even harder than the Peruvian expedition.
Yeah, the first one in Leila Peak, it was it was a hard one because we had one objective, which was Leila, and then we were pretty fast. And then there you need to deal with altitude sickness, and then you need to acclimatize yourself. And then, when you have like two kids super fired up about skiing and seeing the mountains, you're like, we just go up and then we try things. And then the first expedition, for me at least, it was too fast.
Yeah, well, this time you're the one who didn't make it to the top, and you had to sit and watch Sam do it. So
exactly. Yeah. No,
how was that?
It was painful, to be honest, during the day, but I was, before getting the decision, it was a whole process, and I was like, okay, now I'm not feeling good. I was like losing my balance because we had to traverse on ice, and then I was losing my balance, and then I was like, okay, up there the condition is not great. We're not gonna ski, we're not gonna do the best ski that day. So I just asked question, and then I was like putting in the scales, and then to take a right decision, but because I knew that I would regret it if I turn back. And then there were like no question when I turned back, because I threw up all the way down. So I pass you the details, but it was
no, it's all good. I got the feeling watching the film. I kind of felt for you.
But as soon as I reached the base camp, we were in radio contact, and then I was following the crew going up. It was such a cool day because they made it to the top. They skied Leila after not a lot of days on place. So suddenly, the the objective was done, and then we had like 2 more weeks to spend in this magical place. So
and then you got to ski Layla's cousin. How was she?
Super nice, tiring because we get like a reset, and then we were like breaking the trail up to the hip sometimes at 5,000, 500 some things, but the way down was pure and easy, super nice.
Yeah, it looked amazing. And then that second expedition ends with Sammy's spine that slides afterwards. And I mean, just getting
that was the same expedition.
The first expedition to Pakistan, which is the second in the movie. Sorry.
Yeah.
So but it's good that we'll clarify that for everyone, because there is another expedition that comes afterwards. But he said it was one of the hardest ice climbs that he'd ever done. And then he skis this amazing spine. And then, like, was it like an hour or two later, they come and get you guys from the tent?
Yeah.
And the only part of this face that is slid is the exact line that he skied. And when you look up there and you just see that triangle of ice, it's so spooky. And were you thinking to yourselves like, that's it, we're done, or...
Allez, on se casse, on dit comme en français, on dit on se casse.
Okay, that's it. Let's get the F out of here.
Yeah, exactly. Sure. That was really the feeling of what happened there. It was so terrifying. Yeah, and then at the same time, it was getting a little bit, warmer in the Karakoram, and then we were down to the base camp, and then suddenly, I don't remember, it was Luca Rolli, one of the guide and cameraman. You need to get out, and because we were resting and had a nap, and then he just asked us to get out of the tent and watch what happened. And that was not a great feeling. Yeah, especially for Sam. He was spending like hours climbing these mountains and then skiing it. And then he see that like everything went down. Only the things he was skiing, actually. Nothing around was moving. It was really like...
it was a sign. Yeah.
Yeah, it was some things, about him going and climbing these mountains.
Yeah.
Getting some, I don't know. But we don't have any explanation. It was just coming out from nowhere, actually.
Yeah, I just wanted to see if you guys had the same feeling that I did when I watched the film. That was like, okay, that was time for them to get the heck out of there. It was, but then you go back. You to a different part of Pakistan. Is that it?
Again,
that's exactly it. It was all the signs are telling you not to, but you go back again. So,
but we changed our strategy a little bit. We decided to go not super far in Vol d'Oiseau with a flight.
As the crow flies.
Yeah. It was not super far, but it was a different strategy. As I say, we didn't have like a specific objective. We went into a zone where we could set our base camp at 5,000 meters, some things like this, on snow lake cold. And then we knew by pictures that we're going to have like a lot of options around it. So we just decided to give it a try and to do some proper skiing on those 6,000 around the camp, and it works. Actually, it was amazing because the whole expedition was super good because we had like 70 kilometers of glacier to hike up before getting to our place. So for the acclimatation, it was perfect because we hiked and we gain altitude super slowly. So we were sleeping well during the first night. So we were like resting pretty well. And then as soon as we reached the base camp, we were like super fresh and motivated. to ski some mountains around the camp. So that was, we end up about realizing that it was the correct strategy to do that kind of skiing, because it's so hard to get this feeling of good condition in that altitude.
Yeah.
So you need to play a little bit with the zone with a lot of options. Then now
you were
now we
basically
know.
surrounded by perfect lines. It was it
perfect
looked
terrain
amazing.
with different exposition. We
Yeah.
could feel the wind that blows up from the north, so we were like trying to the other side, and then it was like being here in Les Maricottes and then choosing where to ski the day after, without huge objective. We just wanted to have like fun on our skis.
Yeah.
And
And your first run, you have a huge fall.
yeah. Too stoked. Yeah. I probably forgot that I was that high in the mountains in the middle of the Karakoram, because the line was looking just great, and then I was opening up a little bit too much, and then it was icy in the middle of the line, and then we'll say the Austria washing machine hit again.
Exactly. Oh, too good. So was that the best trip of your life? I was going to ask you this at the end, but it really, I mean, the feeling that you get when you're watching the film is that it really just doesn't get any better than that. I mean, like, are you going to retire in Pakistan?
Beside of the beach Thailand trip, you mean, or only about skiing? No, that was for sure one of the best places I've been for skiing. There is like so many options. Like we were like as soon as we were reaching the top of a mountains, we were like see even further the option, and there is like a few Obergabel or a few Lenzspitze that it's way higher, looking super good, and then it's a place which is it's made for skiing, and then nobody go there because it's so far away.
So
the climbers also can do a lot of premiere there. We ski a lot of premiere also there, because it's just made for outdoor sports.
No doubt. And you said you're like, it's nice to be lucky sometimes.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Passing those 3 years of bad luck, but I mean it's bad luck. We call it bad luck, but it's kind of normal to get like because we are looking about such a perfect timing, perfect conditions to do the ski we want to show. So it's we just, I remember one conversation with Sam, and we just said that it was almost impossible to get those conditions, by traveling only 1 month in a year, because you there only for 1 month, and then possibly the Leila Peak will not get in condition for the full year, because it's not a good year. So it's nice that we change our strategy for the last expedition, and then we directly see that it was like much more easier to deal with, the traveling, the having like everybody in a good shape with altitude, because we were sleeping at 5,000 there.
Yeah.
Like everybody, all the Sherpa cinema crew, all the guides. So it was not only us. For example, on the Freeride World Tour, it's only the rider. It's a individual sport.
Yeah.
But while filming, it's a group sport.
Yeah.
And
exactly.
Then if somebody is sick, we need to take a decision for the whole group. It's not about those two riders that has a ID in his head. So that's super nice, because we are helping each other, and then we are evolving in the mountains together.
Yeah, no doubt. And did you talked about the crew, but the support crew, was it the same guys that went on both trips to Pakistan, or I guess they were different?
Yeah, kind of. We changed the guides because those two friends were not available for the second one. But the camera crew was almost the same. Yeah, few
And the
person.
and the porters and all that, the Pakistani guys, were they the same? Were you kind of reuniting, getting the band back together for round two?
Yeah, the organizer was the same, but the porter were different because we were accessing from another, village, which
Okay,
is
all right.
pretty far away in
Okay,
Pakistan.
all
Yeah,
right,
I was saying that it's close for Karakoram size.
right. But yeah, but it's a big country, so yeah,
It
no,
is,
fair
yeah,
enough,
yeah, yeah.
fair
But it
enough.
was so nice to meet those guys. And Pakistan people are the kindest people on earth. Yeah,
Oh,
go traveling there. It's super nice. Yeah.
all right. Well, it looked like it. It absolutely looked like it. Um, so Sammy says, I wanted to ask you something about what Jeremy Jones said about communicating with the mountain. And that when you're up there, you're communicating with the mountain. Sometimes Jones gets a little hippie and a little bit out there, but do you have the connect? Do you feel like a connection with the mountain? Is the mountain talking to you? Like when that face slid on the first expedition to Pakistan and afterwards, was that the mountain saying, you guys, this is enough, you need to leave now? Or
That's not super. Yeah, it's an easy shortcut again. When you have such a sign, it means that you don't have to stay anymore and ski those mountains any longer. So that's quite clear. But yeah, I'm not hearing like mountains speaking to me and things like this. It's more about the signs you can have with the wind and then with the accumulation of the snow and things that you get more and more normal and directly when you do more of
right,
mountaineering and
yeah,
skiing, which is a cool, super cool process because the more you do it, you're more exposed about the danger, but you also get a lot of more experience,
yeah.
which is the key in that sport, in my
Now,
sense.
indeed, there's another thing that Sammy said that stuck with me. As a professional athlete, you want to push and you want to go further, but you also get to a certain point where you see that all you have done is actually crazy. It's actually really pushing the limits. And then Mika, in the same bit at the end of the film, said, for me, the risks aren't worth it, but they're worth it for you.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. But we have a different, path. Uh, it's a bit different, but of course, when you have such an accident like this, it's everything. It's different because you see your past objective a little bit differently, of course, because what we are doing, it's for nothing. So we are not changing the world doing that. It's only, super selfish, and then we're doing like what we love to do, but it's for nothing in one way. So why are we going there in Pakistan for risking our lives? In one way, it's super easy to tell and to ask ourselves, but it's just about passion and the reason. Yeah, that's the reason why we are living, and then why we are, we like this sport because it's exploring, we are pushing ourselves, and it's what attract us also. Because maybe going a Monday to Friday in an office every week, driven by the rhythm of getting into a company like this, it won't fit to Sam, I'm sure, and to me also. So it's our kind of style of living, and then even if it's nothing, we like to do it, and then it's our life.
Yeah, no doubt, no doubt. I picked out a couple of quotes from Xavier and Sam, and from from Jimmy Chin, which I wanted you to comment, but if we get into this where it's going to just be way too long, so I'm just going to read the one from Jimmy Chin, and then I want to go on to another topic. But Jimmy said you have to have the perfect technique. You have to be so good that you never have to think about it. And that's the type of skier that Jérémie is. To ski these types of lines, you have to be so good that you really don't even have to think about it. Does that talk to you? Do you realize, that when these guys, that you're like a legend among legends, and that when, your peers, you're so humble that, but every now and then when you hear a quote like that, like, are you like, what are you feeling inside right now when I read you that quote?
I don't understand the word because it's English, No, but it's cool. It's cool to have these kind of comments, and then it's true because there is like so many things to think about decision, and snow quality and all that weather things. That if you have to think about how you make the first turn, it's not efficient for sure and dangerous. But it's simple said, but it's right. Yeah, well done, Jimmy.
Okay, we're going to talk about another American real quickly here, and ski mountaineer and a fellow ski mountaineer, as he calls himself. Having done La Liste and La Liste 2, La Liste 2, as I've taken to calling it now, what do you think of Cody Townsend's The 50 project?
It's cool. I like it. Yeah, I like it. Yeah, there is like similar
symmetry, similar elements. Yeah, symmetry between the two. Indeed. Yeah.
Which is super nice because I don't know Cody like super well, but we've been competing a little bit together. But it's an amazing skier. He come from really the skiing side. On this project, we can really tell that it was giving him a lot about his skills in the mountains and his way he approached it now. I think he likes to go into the resort and ski, some normal freeriding day. But now he's way more into the big mountain stuff, and then really like to do to see that. It's super nice. It's kind of the same process I had, because I'm sure he was like he wanted to know a little bit more, to push a little bit more, and then to go beyond what he was like doing back in the days. And then with this project, he get pushed by objective of a list to do a huge one. And then, now he still have to finish it, because there is like some big boy.
Yeah, I think he's got 3 left.
Yeah, with the Mount Robson, which is one of the hardest to get. But I'm sure he will manage to get it, because you can see in his episode that it's like really another man with this project. Yeah,
indeed. Now, and so both of you guys developed your climbing skills, but him, it really came through the project, whereas for you, obviously, I think you became a better climber, and you're still becoming a better climber every day. But for Cody, I think the learning curve was a bit steeper, because you started really young, whereas him, it was kind of he was still doing the filming, getting dropped off at the helis, and then all of a sudden he's he's like, oh, well, I guess we're gonna have to climb these things, so I'm gonna have to learn how to climb.
Yeah, that's great, but that's cool. If you're well surrounded, it's totally fine to do it, because you can get advice about the decision of the timing and things like this. So that's so cool how we did it. And then I'm stoked to see more episodes.
Yeah, no doubt. No, so am I. He's got the 50 plus coming out now, where he's deciding which are his. Actually, he's doing routes that he wants to do, and then he's deciding along with the people who climb and then ski those routes with him, if they should be considered classics or not. It's literally
Okay.
just come out now. So
Cool.
that's it's something definitely to check out. And you, as I said, are continuing to improve your craft. You're doing a mountain guide training program right now. You're studying to become a mountain guide.
I just received it today.
Awesome. Congratulations.
It's there. Yeah, that's perfect timing. Again, a good timing. Yeah, thank
No,
you. Yeah.
no doubt. Oh, that's fantastic. That's great. And speaking of two other mountain guides, Jerome Ruby and Dede Rin, when you and Sam are riding the Lenzspitze in La Liste, it really makes me think of that shot of Jerome and Dede on that super steep, the triolet in Chamonix. Were those guys one of your inspirations, or when you maybe not directly since they're not skiers, but they're, the closest thing that I can think of you and Sam together is Jerome and Dede. I don't know, what's your feeling about those guys?
Yeah, yeah. But I get to know, a bit better what they were doing after the first movie, actually, because I'm not well informed probably, but it's super nice that you can have like people to go out with, to do those crazy things together, because that's totally different to share those things, with a friend. A lot of the steep skiers are doing things, by themselves. Being two, it's for me, it's crucial. It's I'm not ready yet to go on an expedition just by myself, to be the only skier. I like to share what we are doing, and then also to talk about, because there is so many decisions to take in one particular objective. So you can do like a lot of different, and then being two, it's like structure a little bit the choice, and then it helps me to be more confident in objective like this. So yeah, I totally understand why Rem and Jerome were together in the triolet for the first descent there, because it's being alone in such a phase. Yeah, that would have been different, I would say.
Yeah, no doubt. So what do you think, speaking of being alone on a face like that, maybe it's not quite exactly the same thing, but it's not far off. Sylvain Saudon, we talked about him earlier, when he, skis the Spencer Couloir in 67. Like, when you watch that footage and other, footage of the other first descents that he was doing, like, and on that kind of equipment, what goes through your head when you see that?
It's crazy. It's crazy because, what you need to consider, it's also the material he had back in the days. It's, 2 meter 20 skis, like straight, not wide. The boots, which is, the things that keep you the balance on the skis, which are, they were like much softer. And then, no information. Now we can have our, iPhone, and then scroll down, and then in 5 minutes we have, a different weather station with all the winds, and then how it snow in which altitude, where is the level of the Thames. So we get like so much tool to work with now. And then, it wasn't the case back in the days. So he just tried by himself, and then went down to Chamonix and tell the people, and nobody believed him. Actually, he told me it's how he got like his nickname, the skier of the impossible.
Of the impossible.
Yeah, the day after, the journalists take a plane and then saw the track, and he went like, it's such a cool story. It was super nice to meet Sylvain Saudin. All the times I get super lucky to meet him, like 4 times, and then all the times it was like new stories, and then you just don't talk and you listen for hours. It's super nice. Yeah, such a cool guy.
Oh yeah, the guy's definitely a true legend there, no doubt. So we've been through both of La Liste films, which kind of happened, about 6 year intervals, I guess, between the first and the second one.
Yeah.
With little projects in between. And then since then, afterwards, I guess we've been through COVID, but COVID was at the end of when you guys
it was during, actually.
Yeah, it was during while you were.
Yeah.
So it must have been nice to get away from civilization while all of that was happening, to be out in the wilds of Pakistan. And then nowadays, though, you're a YouTuber.
Yeah.
Tell me about your daily routine.
No, but that's a little project I had sitting on the couch there during the COVID, because we get like not allowed to go outside of our house and then to play in the mountains. So I was like, in Switzerland, it was a little bit better with authorities, but just our neighbors in France was super strict. In Italy also, if I remember well. Yeah. So I just decided to do some motivation for the people, and then to show a little bit what a regular day looks like around Les Maricottes, because now it's super nice because we can combine a lot of sports with bikes, flying, skiing, of course, and then alpinism. Techniques, climbing, using the rope, and then now we are using a lot of things to during one day to get the most of it, and then it's really a motivation for me. So it was nice to show a little bit outside what's going on, and then not necessarily motivating people to do the same, but just to get out and do their things.
Yeah, to give them an idea of what your daily routine is about, or maybe not daily, but once a couple times a month.
Yeah, in a month. Yeah.
And there's some a few things in there. I'm going to mention a little sponsor plug here. The Pedal to Pow program with Scott, because I started watching the videos before I found the Pedal to Pow thing. And but yeah, you pedal in on your e-bike, and then you fly out like on the your the last daily routine. You're in the north face of someplace in Chamonix with Leo Slemet, and you guys and you drove in, but then you fly out. I just love the way you just.
No, but I mean it's so great because we can do. We opened some lines last year with friends that had never been skied because of the exit, and just having like the skills of taking off with the paraglider or just landing in slopes. It's opening a lot of options, and then we did like huge lines only in the morning, and then we were back for lunch. So it's crazy the efficiency we can have.
It is. And are you just doing it for entry and exit, or are you into the speed flying too?
No. I love skiing too much to do that kind of things. But it will come one day maybe. But the feeling of skiing, it's still too strong to have a wing under my head. Yeah.
No, fair enough. And I loved, I think it was episode 26 of the daily routine in your garage. You're a full-on gear geek.
Yeah. Not as much as OG, but
I guess you have to be. It goes with the territory, right?
Yeah, kind of. Yeah.
So anybody who's listening to us or watching us, check out Daily Routine, Jérémie Heitz on YouTube. I'm not going to go down the list, but I'll just throw a couple plugs in there. We get a full rundown on your Scott Pure Pro ski, on how you pack everything into your Mammoth backpack, and then just go watch it, you guys. But that brings me to something I wanted to bring up: your collaboration with your partners. You've been with Scott for over 10 years. I just talked about the pedal to pow and the Scott e-mountain bike, and your Pure Pro skis and poles and Mammoth outerwear and Reusch gloves. You really have not only do you have strong relationships with your sponsors and your partners, but you're really into the collaborations and working on the gear that you use when you go up into the mountains.
Yeah, but that's happened because of the many years I've been with them, because it's really like a process that you need to build up, I would say, because you need to understand the brand, to feel good in a brand. And then I always had like a long-term partnership. Like, as you say, it's I started with Scott. I started with O'Neill for a few years at the beginning, but directly I had Mammoth as a partner. And then working with those guys, it's still super nice because they are Swiss, and that's super important for me. I can, jump into my car, and then in 2 hour maximum, I'm in the headquarter, and then this allowed me to talk about product and to be disponible for them, and that's really important as an athlete, I would say, because we are the guys that have the chance to go every day out there and to test the product. So the input we have, it's pure gold, I would say. And then being able to talk with them and to develop product, it's super satisfying. Yeah, because now I can have the jacket and the pants I dream
that
about.
You want. Yeah,
exactly. And the same with the skis, some things that I couldn't imagine before. And then Scott gave me this chance. One day they just asked me, "Hey, Jérémie, what skis would you like to have in your dream?" And then you just tell us, and then we make it. And then the Pure family is born with that kind of small talk we had with them. So it's super nice to have such a trust between.
No doubt. And those you rode on the original List or on the second La Liste in Peru and Pakistan?
And the second,
the second one.
The Pure, yeah. We were able to have a ski which is light enough to walk, but stable enough to ski fast. So I think we were reaching like kind of the fine line where light, it's not too light to lose the stability, but it's not too heavy to walk long distance with it. So I think we did a pretty good job with these skis. And then not far away, a few days ago I was thinking about about how we can make better skis, and then having like lighter skis will go against the stability. So I don't know, maybe we need other product that can come to other industry and things like this. It's how it involved, but right now it's I'm pretty happy with those skis.
And as we're talking about your partners, it makes me think of a question that I skipped over because I've been going down my list, and I've been skipping a few because otherwise we're going to be here for like 3 hours, and I know that it's dinner time's coming up here in Europe. So, but how did you get the cases, and how many cases of Red Bull did you bring on each of the expeditions to Peru?
A few ones. Actually, we don't have powder to mix with water, unfortunately.
I was gonna say.
Yeah. No, that's a few ones for sure. Yeah.
The porters must have loved you guys for that.
Yeah, with the generator also for all the backup. That was a huge expedition. We had like 70 porters the last expedition to go up on the glacier, because we had to set up a production tent. We were like carrying all our stuff with the sledge also with Sammy and the other guys, but all the production things was crazy heavy. And then we had like a tent for all the backups, the drones and everything. So porter were pretty super useful. And then
No doubt.
they were carrying some Red Bull also. Thanks for them.
Porters and donkeys I saw as well.
And donkeys, yeah. As soon
Yeah.
as we were reaching the snow, it was a bit harder for the donkeys and also for the goats, because we were like, the goats were, walking with us
Yeah.
during the way up. As soon as they disappear, and they were into some big bidon.
Big tubs, big
big tubs, yeah.
Yeah, or big crate. Yeah.
And then we just realized that that's gonna be our food for the next couple of weeks up there.
Oh wow.
So,
Okay.
Yeah, they have they're so well organized. It's super nice.
Yeah. The logistics of that absolutely incredible. So what's next?
What's next? Dinner time, as you say. Yeah.
For sure. Indeed, I'm getting hungry. I got pizzas downstairs waiting for me, but
you have it already.
No, seriously, what's next for you? I know you've got some your brain is still going. You haven't found your limits. So where are we? A little bird told me maybe 8,000 meter peaks.
Oof, no. I'm saying no all the time, but no. I keep saying no. I don't want to go higher specifically, but some things that I really want is to be versatile as much as I can, because now I'm starting to do a lot of things, but being good in a lot of things takes a lot of time. So I think it's one of the motivation I had, to take part of the guiding course, because it's one of the best, way to learn how to evolve in the mountains. So now I'm building up a new Jérémie kind of to evolve even better in the mountains, and then to make to have new missions like the daily routine, to access things, and then to get the most out of one day. It's really something that motivates me. And then also, why not having like have a little idea of movie about showing that kind of things, in the perfect run or some things like this. In my vision, that could be nice. I will continue with the daily routine, and then have some eye on the Pakistani side still.
Okay.
I would love to go there, because of the people and the food, not the mountain. No, but a lot it's going on. I have a lot of projects in mind, and I'm super stoked about how this this evolution is going on. It's super natural, and then I don't feel any pressure, and then I just do what I love. So yeah, I'm pretty stoked.
And how about passing on some of the knowledge that you've learned, and forming some of the up and coming kids? Are there, are you going to play the Nico and Loris Falquet to Jérémie Heitz? Is there a young Jérémie Heitz coming up, or are you not quite old enough to pass on your knowledge yet?
Yeah, that's a good question. I have a small brother called Tom Richard. So he's a really, really good skier. So every time he wants to go in the mountains or just skiing, I'm of course super motivated. But having like a full program of coaching and things like this, it's way too early for me. I still have a lot of motivation to push myself and to do other projects before doing this. Yeah, it's too early. Enough. I'm only 35.
You're only 35, exactly, exactly. So, and another one down the road, because we spoke about Jérôme Ruby, who is one of the guides for the Freeride World Tour, and Claude Alain Gaillon. Right. Those guys are getting a bit older. They're gonna have to find some replacements for them down the road. Would that be something that would interest you, bringing the doing the full circle and coming back and guiding for the tour?
Oh, I'm not sure. No, I'm sure. No. No, not yet. No, it's too early. It's too early.
No,
I'm
yeah,
not gonna.
not now, but down the road. Would that be something that would interest you, or does this a total? I'm
Oh,
throwing it in out of
yeah,
left field, a little baseball reference there, but
yeah. That could be nice. Actually, because you can get into this atmosphere from another side. But right now, I would say that I'm way too stoked about having the right day with the good condition instead of doing some security things on an event. So yeah, I'm not ready to walk actually because I'm not calling what I'm doing right now as a walk. So yeah.
fair
Yeah,
enough. Well,
let's see. Who knows?
all
Yeah,
good. Well,
but I
keep
need to have a lot of experience because Claude Alain and Jérôme Ruby have a huge experience about the other side of the vision of the mountain. So I'm way too young to have this kind of vision that they have because they are master about it. Yeah,
indeed. Well, you and Sammy, you still have plenty of years in front of you to learn before you can step into those shoes if you
a
do
bit more
decide
for
to do
me,
that.
a bit less for Sammy because he got a lot of experience already.
Yeah,
Yeah,
no, for sure. Yeah, I meant to mention him, but what about Simon Ontamatten? I know he's had a huge influence on Sam, but
yeah.
on you as well?
No, no, no. No.
Okay.
Maybe it's passing through Sam, but I know Simon just because sometimes I go on with Samuel, but Simon I know him as a crazy mountaineer. Now he's a pilot, helicopter pilot. Everything he does, it's kind of perfect. It's such an inspiration, but I don't know him like super well to be like to make like parallel like this. I'm using
Okay.
Sammy for that. Yeah,
Living vicariously through Sam. That sounds
yeah,
good.
exactly. Yeah, yeah, but that's so cool to see them. They're still supporting each others, and then now they have a family. Sam just had the second one,
Oh,
not
I
far.
didn't know.
Yeah.
Fantastic. All right.
So it's so great, and then you can really see Sam is super happy with the situation now. It's crazy, super nice. Yeah,
Awesome. Good deal. Well, listen, we're sometime in the future when the technology allows it, I really hope that we get to do another one of these interviews, but with you and Sam together, because that's what I originally wanted to do. But I was told that we don't have the technology, so we're gonna have to wait. But there will be a part 2. There will be an everything or nothing with the no fall zone and you, me, and Sam back
yeah,
here
with pleasure.
on the with the Freeride World Tour. This is the moment where I pass it over to you for any shout outs, thank yous. It's been awesome. Thank you, first of all, for joining us.
Thank
And
you, Dave.
now, any last words from you, Jérémie Heitz?
Keep the motivation. Good luck for every competitor on this year. I'm feeling that the snow will arrive soon.
Fingers crossed.
Yeah.
All good. Awesome. Well, Jérémie, merci beaucoup. Thank you very much.
Merci.
It has been it's been a long one, and it's been a seriously good one and a fantastic pleasure to chat with you once again. It's been too long.
Thank you, Dave. That was nice.
All right. Yeah.
Bye-bye.
Awesome. Ciao.
Ciao.
So that was the legend that is Jérémie Heitz, the coolest cat and still the fastest free rider on snow. I think we set a record there, just over 2 hours, but it was super interesting, and I hope you enjoyed it as much as I did. As always, check back with us on the Freeride World Tour social media channels. Don't forget to drop in.